What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another ranking. With the release of The Secret Life of Pets 2 in theaters this weekend, I figured why not give you guys my ranking of all the Illumination Entertainment movies from worst to best. To be honest with you guys, I really didn't want to do this ranking, because I am not the biggest Illumination Entertainment fan, and most of the movies on here I've watched for the first time just to do this ranking video, and I figured, you know what, since there's only 10 movies from this studio, I figured it's a perfect amount to do a ranking video. The most important thing is what you guys think. I want to hear what your rankings are for all 10 Illumination Entertainment movies from worst to best. This is Illumination Entertainment Animation Studio. So guys, let's have a friendly conversation down below. Also, this is a subjective list. This is just my opinions overall. If you have a different list, that's awesome. If you disagree with my list, totally fine. Just be respectful about it. That's all I ask. So without further ado, let's get started with the ranking. Coming in at number 10 is going to be The Minions. The Minions. Oh my goodness. This movie. Why did it need to happen? The two movies before this movie made almost $1 billion at the box office, so that's why we got a Minions movie. And this movie also made over $1 billion and made more money than Captain America Civil War and Lord of the Rings Return of the King. That is embarrassing. Basically, did we need a prequel about how the Minions came to be? Did we really need a story about them trying to find their boss, and they're traveling different worlds? They're traveling to the dinosaurs, they find a T-Rex, so they find the world's most top villain around, that is Scarlet Overkill, voiced by Sandra Bullock. And Sandra Bullock is the most decent character in the movie because she's smart and she thinks the minions are annoying, so she wants to kill them. So you're on her side the whole movie. And the Minions are better used in the Despicable Me movies. Why did you need to make a movie about them? Coming in at number 9 is going to be Hop. Yes, Hop is the only Illumination Studios movie that is not fully animation. Yes, there are real human characters in this film. You have James Marsden playing the main human character named Fred, and then you have E.B. the bunny, who's voiced by Russell Brand, out of all people. This movie was so awkward and so weird. The animation looked so dated. Russell Brand was really off as the lead character. E.B., he plays that very stereotypical character that gets rejected from his father because he has his own passions, and his father has a different passion for him. He wants him to be the new Easter Bunny, and E.B.'s like, no, I just want to be a drummer. And Fred has those same problems as well with his family. His father doesn't believe in what he's doing, and so, yeah, Fred meets E.B. in the real world. And Hop is just that Illumination movie that feels like the black sheep, and that you have no idea that it's an Illumination movie, and it's the most forgettable Illumination film. At number 8 is going to be The Secret Life of Pets, the first Secret Life of Pets movie that came out in 2016. I was not a fan of this movie overall, and I really didn't like how this movie felt like a Toy Story ripoff. Like, this movie takes so many plot points from Toy Story 1 and 2 that it pissed me off. Like, the whole movie is about Max the dog, voiced by Louis C.K., and then he comes across a situation where his owner, he loves his owner so much, and then his owner gets a new dog named Duke, voiced by Eric Stone Street. He's like Buzz Lightyear and Max is like Woody. Tries to protect his own territory, and then Duke and Max get separated. They have to learn to work together, just like the first Toy Story. And it's not just the Toy Story ripoff that makes me don't like this movie. It's just that it's a pretty stereotypical movie we've seen before. I didn't care about the characters in this one. I don't really think it has that many memorable performances in it, and it also has a really annoying, over-the-top performance from Kevin Hart as the tiny, cute bunny Snowball. And it doesn't say much for the sequel, because The Secret Life of Pets 2 is my number 7. Now, this movie is better than the first one, but it does feel bland, stereotypical, and generic like the first film. It doesn't rip off Toy Story or any other Pixar movie you can think of. This one goes on its own adventure. It goes away from the house and the city location they were in, and we're in this barn for the second half of the movie, and we get introduced to new characters, especially Harrison Ford. He was really teaching Max things that he was scared about, is like, why didn't you tell him to get the ball? Why aren't you jumping over the fence? Be brave, goddammit. I like Harrison Ford in the movie. Tiffany Haddish is also in the movie too. They add in new characters, and there's too many subplots to this movie. There's a subplot involving saving this little white cub tiger. There's the subplot with them going on this road trip and all that. The subplot of them stopping this human villain in the movie. I saw this movie extremely early, 2 weeks early for the Fandango early access screenings, and I forgot everything that happens in this movie because this movie is forgettable. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Lorax. Dr. Seuss is the Lorax. You have Danny DeVito voicing the Lorax in this movie. And Danny DeVito, that's a weird casting. The movie's not terrible, it's just eh. I do like the story elements with Zac Efron's character Ted, this young boy who's going to the Onceler's house, and the Onceler character voiced by Ed Helms. He has a past where he made a lot of mistakes with him and this one product he made. He's a top dog businessman who creates this business with his family, but then it all crumbles downhill once he meets the Lorax. He believes in population and all that and the environment, and overall the characters are just blah, and the story is pretty bogged down and over dramatic. Alright guys, top 5. Coming in at number 5 is going to be The Grinch. The Grinch with Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, this movie was okay. It was pretty fun and enjoyable. Compared to the other Grinch movies, Jim Carrey's Grinch movie, and also the animated cartoon Grinch, those movies are definitely better than this one. But I like Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. He played the arrogant Grinch really well because, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, so you obviously know Cumberbatch is going to bring the arrogance, and his character was funny. I love the Grinch going into Whoville and all that, stealing all the town's presents and all that. He wants to steal Christmas just like the other Grinch movies. And this movie has a fun time with it. The Grinch has a good relationship with the dog in the film, and it's just some funny moments, but again, it's generic, it's predictable, just like the other Grinch movies. You know the Grinch is going to be good by the end, and he's going to feel sorry for stealing all the presents. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Despicable Me 3. I like Despicable Me 3. This movie is fun. Gru finds his long-lost brother, Drew, and Steve Carell does both voices. I think Gru and Drew are hilarious together. Margot, Edith, Agnes, and Lucy Wilde, of course, are back in it, the whole family. I like the family dynamics, too. I love Lucy Wilde's character, Kristen Wiig. Her having to deal with the fact she's a mother now and she's married to Gru and she has daughters. There's a funny scene of her sticking up for Margaret in the film. That was great. This movie has a really over-the-top villain named Balthazar Brat, voiced by Trey Parker. I thought this villain was hilarious in that he had personality to him. I'm been a bad boy. He had this like own cartoon show and all that he watched. That's entertaining. Coming in at number 3 is Despicable Me 2. This movie introduces Lucy Wilde, voiced by Kristen Wiig, and of course, Gru now being the hero side because of course he's a father now. He has to father Margot, Edith, and Agnes and all that. And I really enjoy Gru in this movie. I love how the daughters are making him go on dates and all that. They set up a dating website for him, which was really funny. There's a great thing with Margot having a crush on a boy. She dances with the boy, and Gru's obviously spying on them. That's freaking hilarious. And I like Lucy Wilde too. She's an entertaining character for sure. And it's cool to see Gru and Lucy go on all these missions together. The villain in this movie is named Eduardo El Macho Perez, voiced by Benjamin Bratt. This villain is the more underwhelming villain out of the Despicable Me villains, but he has a cool design to him. He looks like Macho Man Randy Savage, which was funny. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Sing. Now, Sing is actually a pretty decent Illumination movie. It's not a great movie, but it is one of my favorite Illumination movies. This is all about singing, which I really enjoyed about the film. The main story is about this koala bear named Buster Moon, voiced by Matthew McConaughey, and he wants to fulfill his father's legacy by running this theater, and he's passionate about singing. He sees a concert of this great singer, and so he wants to fulfill his father's legacy and run this theater, but he's having trouble with the bank, and so he's about to lose the theater. So hey, why not start a singing competition? Let's make a $100,000 grand prize, where the big mistake is they only have $1,000 and then they have nothing. I really like Seth MacFarlane as the voice of Mike the Mouse. He was great. He's a jazz singer like Frank Sinatra. Taron Egerton voices Johnny, this criminal kid whose father is a criminal and all that. He doesn't want to be a part of the criminal life, and he's a really talented singer and piano player. Scarlett Johansson has a twin brother in the film. She's a hedgehog and all that. Feels a lot like American Idol for sure, but it's really about them singing and all that and trying to prepare for the singing competition, but things fail miserably for the koala bear, Mr. Moon. But coming in at number 1 is going to be the first Despicable Me movie. I think the first Despicable Me is actually a really solid film. The first Despicable Me focuses on Gru, voiced by Steve Carell, and he's wants to be the world's most famous villain of all time. I love Gru as a villain in this film. He wants to commit the greatest crime of them all. He wants to steal the moon by shrinking it. I like the villain Vector, voiced by Jason Segel. I think this villain is entertaining for sure. He's this nerd guy and all that. He's a good match for Gru in this film. I love the daughters, of course. Margot, Edith, and Agnes are great in the movie. Once they finally get adopted by Gru and all that, they figured, is it safe to be here? And their relationship is great. Gru's just like, blah, 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 I don't want to be father. The minions are hilarious in this film. They're used properly really well. When they're not screaming, banana, illumination, and they're just like, aha, casita. There's a lot of adult humor in this movie, and I think it's gonna fly past kids' heads. There's a lot of adult humor that I laughed out loud in this film. So there you have it, guys. That was my ranking of all the Illumination entertainment movies from worst to best. Guys, did you agree with my list? Probably not a lot of you, but if you disagreed with my list, which I'm sure you did, let me know your rankings of all the Illumination movies down below, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this ranking, and if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe today for more content. All my social media links are in the description down below. Click that notification bell on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Illumination!